Okay, I didn't see a real good video on YouTube on how to do this. I mean, there's a couple videos, but this one, hopefully in this one I can show how easy this is, or at least the hard parts that are going to be there when you go to change this. Talking specifically about the motor actuator for the automatic doors. This is a 2006 Toyota Sienna, and when you go to actually open the doors, when this actuator fails, it's this piece here, you have to pull and hold on the door in order for it to open all the way. If you hit the button, you'll hear it try and move, but it won't actually move. And that's actually this actuator right here. So it sits right here. Common part failure. And I actually bought just the motor, not the entire assembly here. And I wanted to show a little bit of how to do it. I've already done my other door. It took me about an hour and a half. This one's going to take me about a half hour since I learned a couple things. Disassembly of the door is pretty easy. There's already other videos out there. You pretty much are going to take the two screws that are right here that hold the housing for the handle. You're going to take those two screws out. It pops out. You'll undo the wire harness on the back. You'll take out all of these screws around the outside of this panel here. Okay, all around the outside. You'll also need to loosen some of the screws on the window actuator. There was a couple people that did it differently than what I did, maybe easier. I just lowered the window. As you can see, I've got it taped in place. I lowered the window until you can see the screws coming through here, and of course they're not lined up because this panel's already down. 10mm socket, you'll loosen those, which end up being these brackets right here. You don't need to take them out. I know people have taken that whole thing off, but I left it on, and I just undid the screws here on this on the gear actuator, and then the two, so they're right here. I undid these two, and I undid the ones on this swing arm in the back here, right here. So as long as the window's in place, you can pull that whole assembly off. And then there's three more. This part right here swings up and down, and it's what holds the motor on right here, right through this hole. So I took those three screws out. Now, putting this back together, there's a lot of tension, so it's kind of difficult to get this piece pulled back into place here. But I didn't have to mess with the window, the regulator, or anything, you know, in that regard. I just left it at the same height, so when I put the panel back on, it's easy to put back on. So that in itself was pretty easy. The first door, of course, that I did wasn't, but it's kind of a pain. The reason I'm making this video is this little motor actuator sits right here. Okay, this way, sorry. Sits right here, hooked into that little piece there, and there's two screws that go through it to the back. That's why you have to take this whole panel off, because you got to get to the two screws that sit right there and right there. And I tell you what, they're a bugger to get out, because they use blue Loctite on these screws, and as you can see, they're very soft. I buggered the crap out of them trying to get them out. I snapped one off and scraped up my hands quite a bit. Snapped one off. They do not come out very easy, so I actually have a little metric nut set here screw set, machine screws that actually fit perfectly. There's another guy in another video that said that the screws from a light socket, you know, like I don't have one here in front of me, but you know, the ones that go into the outlet, those work as well. But these are an actual match. Okay, I don't know the exact size, but they were an actual match. The part I really wanted to get to in this video, when you get this actuator out, you'll turn it over on the back side, and there are three very small screws that are usually not even in very tight. And this whole assembly, this whole top, pops off. Now you can buy this whole thing as a part. It's about $100, $120 or something for this entire assembly. However, I bought just this, just the little motor. This was the part I bought from digi-key. Okay, manufacturer part number right up here, PAN14EE12AA1. It's a 12-volt DC brushed, motor brushed. Okay, shows the RPMs on it. So you can buy that part. I think I paid $5 a piece for them. So I'm actually going to take this apart. You'll take this top gear out. This little pin in there, the bushing, it slides, so just leave that in there. And then you'll take this piece off. And it's two pieces in one, so just grab it, set it aside. Don't need to mess with it. And then this last little piece you kind of have to pry up. I used the closest thing I had, which was a very rudimentary tool, but you just need to pry that motor up a tiny bit. Let me set the phone down for just a sec here. Okay. Okay, sorry for that. So I had to just pry that motor up. Okay, take that out. And it's as easy as mashing them up. And you pull the shaft off this one and you put it onto that one. Get lined up here. Okay, that's it. That stupid little $5 motor, and I replaced both of them. It was the cause of all those problems. Let me show you real quick. I gotta turn my doors back on, sorry. All right, so when you have the automatic doors on, and I'm gonna use the door that's not torn apart, what you would do was you would pull on the handle. Usually this is normal operation. Pull, and that actuator then pulls the lock apart and opens the door. And closing it, you would just pull and it'll close. See, you hear that actuator move before the door does. When that actuator is broken, you actually have to pull and hold on the door for a second until it lets go, and then you can let go of it. And also the buttons up top in the console there, they don't work when this little motor dies. So I'm just going to put all this back together. In fact, I don't even need to take a video of this, but I put all these pieces back together just like I found them. Okay, put all these pieces back in. There's no real alignment to this or anything. Okay, once it's in, it's in. It'll just spin until it actually kicks over. So you can put it all back together. You have to make sure that's snapped in, because on the bottom there's little contacts in the bottom of the motor right there. So it snaps down into those. Right? You put this back together, put those 3 screws back in, grab your 2 new screws, and you'll basically just reverse assembly on all this. You have to put that actuator back on. You have to connect the actuator arm first, and then, you know, swivel that little purple piece into place. Put those 2 screws on. You kind of have to fidget with the window and the alignment to get the motor back on and to get this little gear housing connected back in. That's actually going to be kind of the painful part. Again, there may be an easier way to do it, but it worked for me. Put all the rest of these screws back on. Don't forget that actuator arm in the back for the window. And then put it all back together. The panel, getting the panel off pretty easy. It's all the snap pops, except for the 2 screws right here. And I failed to mention, there's one at the very bottom back corner. It's that screw right there. So it goes all the way in the back. Put it all back together, and it'll work for you. So again, you don't have to pay $120 for an actuator part, or even $1,000 to have the dealership fix this. You can do it in about an hour. By just taking it apart yourself and doing the work. The other thing I did was actually, I did this all today. I replaced these the hinges on the door because they were sagging and actually scraping into the side of the van. So I replaced all these as well. You can see I didn't paint them. I know I probably should have, but you can see now when it slides, it doesn't scrape anymore. There's actually clearance between the bracket, that hinge, and this thing right here. So now when you close it, it slides and there's room. Okay. So, but I didn't kitchen time. Yeah, I didn't paint the bracket, so I didn't bother with it. I'll show you the damage it did on this side though. You can see here where the bracket dropped enough to actually scratch the paint in there. So there's already other videos on how to fix that. It wasn't too bad. Open your back windows. You want to pop up on this back piece because this back one slides down. There's a little bracket that slides down. You want to pop up on that and then out on the front, and that thing comes off. 2 screws for the cable. 2 screws for the cable in there. and then replace the hinge. Yeah, support the door while you do it. So anyways, I hope that works for you guys as well as it worked for me. I didn't actually see a video of anybody that actually had taken this apart and shown how to replace this motor. I know a couple of people actually accessed it from the front while I was on the door. They would cut this housing out and replace it there, but I didn't want to mess with that. So, but I do want to warn people about how nasty those screws are to get out. They are Loctited in and it's very soft metal. I don't think they're ever designed to come out. Some people have used a Dremel. I got it out just enough, you know, just basically just enough to get a hold with some vice grips, and I just chewed the crap out of them getting them out. So anyways, hope that helps. If you like it, thumbs up. Thanks. Bye.